Welcome back for another video. Well, a lot has changed over the space of just a few days in the FPL landscape. Who are the best players to buy for Gameweek 18 and beyond? Let's break it down nice and simple by discussing each position. Chaos in FPL is always a big opportunity, so we're going to talk about how you can benefit. So we'll do the goalkeepers first, and defensively there are a few standout games for me. Liverpool have got Wolves home, Everton face Burnley away, and Arsenal have got Brighton home. Therefore, the top three keepers as far as Gameweek 18 projections are Alisson, Pickford and Raya. We've been waiting for this week for a while from an Everton perspective. The fixtures now turn and they stay good for the very long term. Everton's run is Burnley, Forest, Brentford, Wolves, Villa, Leeds, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth and Man United. Obviously still a bit pricey Pickford for 5.5 mil, but there's every chance over this spell that Pickford could end up outscoring Raya, who's 0.5 million more now. Over the next 5 game weeks, in fact, only 0.6 projected points separates the two, with Raya marginally ahead, but it's so close that it's basically noise in the data and not something to draw a definitive conclusion from. Last game week was a great one for keepers. Kelleher also saving a penalty and keeping a clean sheet for a 13-pointer. Verbruggen made 6 saves against Sunderland and kept a clean sheet himself, plus he took maximum bonus for an 11-pointer. Verbruggen still looks amazing value for 4.4 mil, just not this week obviously when he's got Arsenal away. But from Gameweek 19, Brighton also have a good long-term fixture run, starting with West Ham and Burnley. I would avoid the Palace defence, I wouldn't go near Henderson. That's just very stretched right now, busier schedule than anyone, and it did show last game week after conceding 4 to Leeds. Palace have got to play Arsenal away in the League Cup before Gameweek 18 as well. That's the only midweek fixture. Arsenal can afford to roll out a pretty rotated team, whereas Palace probably can't if they want a realistic chance of progressing. I want to give a quick shout out to Scout, who continued to support this channel for the 4th year running. Treat yourself to Scout membership for Christmas for just a few quid, and you get benefits like all my data tables from videos, the fixture ticker tool, game week highlights which is new, player comparison, DEFCON data, and they've got a new page as well where you can watch the highlights of every single match, or even just the replays of the goals. There's a link below to become a member and get 50% off. It's my 9th year as a member myself. It also supports the channel by joining. Click the link below. Defenders up next then. So Van Dijk tops the table this week. He's on 5.3 points. And then it's Tarkowski 4.9, Timber 4.7 in third. If you're not looking to buy Pickford, then Tarkowski is a very strong alternative for the same price. He's registering 10.3 DEFCONs per 90 this season and a 65% success rate, which ranks 3rd best. Senesi of 81% and Anderson 67% are the only two that are higher. Everton are in that sweet spot where there's clean sheet and DEFCON potential, which can make Tarkowski one of the best defenders in the game in these upcoming fixtures. His next 5 projections are 3rd best behind Van Dijk and Timber only. The only thing to note with Tarkowski is he's on 4 yellow cards, so if he does get one more before Gameweek 20, then he's going to be suspended for 1 game, so take a look at your team and assess the risk if you're looking at him. What about Keane then for 0.8 million cheaper? Well, he's great as well. He's actually on better points per million, in fact. He's actually on 4 more points than Tarkowski, and some Everton fans would argue he's been the better centre-half this season. Once Branthwaite returns, there is a chance that Keane drops out, but that could be another month or so away, so Keane's a great option as well. Gabriel's nearing a return for Arsenal, and hopefully be next match, if not Gameweek 19, for Villa home. That's the game that's sort of been earmarked anyway, so maybe one more game for Nkapia. What about O'Reilly though as a transfer in for 5.3 mil? He's not on the table for Forest away, but he is still a great option to pick up now. If you've used the Focal app on my site, on the statistics page there's some presets you can load, and one of those is called 4+ points hit rate. In other words, which players have got the highest floor and score 4 or more points than most, excluding benchings. And O'Reilly is the #1 defender in the league in that respect, with 4 or more points in 77% of his games. And then it's James, Munoz, Chalobah, Guehi, Alderete, Cucurella, Ruben and Vardiol. Your own assessment required, of course. For example, James just doesn't start regularly enough, so his looks great without that context. Looking really cheap, it's a great fixture for the super cheap defenders Mukiele and Alderete next, with Leeds home. If you need a really cheap defender to get you through next week, or maybe you're looking to make a combination of moves, then I think there are amazing options for 4.2 and 4.0 mil. Mukiele's averaging 9.8 DEFCONs per 90, Alderete 9.5. Midfielders next, and the template has been ripped up before our eyes, which is an opportunity as well. Amarin was asked about the Bruno situation and he said, Mainu is out, Bruno is out, so we'll see. No excuses, we'll try and win the next game. And he also said, quote, I think he's going to lose some games. So who's the best Bruno replacement? Well, looking at the next 5 projections, Saka, Cunha and Foden, the ones that leap out. Palmer as well, but it does feel like a major risk for minutes right now, given that Maresca wouldn't use him at all when they had midweek games on his return from injury, and the schedule right now is equally busy. It's actually Wirtz who tops the table this week with 6.3 points, as Liverpool face rock-bottom Wolves. He is an option as well. No team has ever had fewer points than the Wolves with 2 points after 17 games in all 4 English Football League divisions since it was founded in 1888. I would prioritise Cunha though, and then Saka or Foden if you've not got them. I've got an interesting stat for you which might be a sign if you've not got them already. Over the last 4 game weeks, Cunha is top in the entire league for non-penalty expected goal involvement with 3.54 XGI. That's more than Haaland's 2.92 even. It's not out of the question for Cunha to be on pens as well in Bruno's absence for whatever period that he's not in the team. Sesko's pen record is pretty good as well though, so it could be him. The next 4 amazing fixtures as well. Newcastle home, Wolves home, Leeds away, Burnley away. In the context of Newcastle's injuries, it could be one of those games that's just sort of attack first. You know, like, they put 2 past Chelsea, but they just couldn't hold on and ended up conceding 2 themselves last game week. Now, one talking point that I think has been massively overlooked is Bruno's return to play. Now, currently that's a big question mark. He's only just gone off injured, and Amarin wasn't totally sure himself. And it's not impossible that Bruno just misses 1 game, for example. His injury record is unbelievable. He's missed, I think, like 2 or 3 games in his entire career of injury. So it's something to keep in mind strategy-wise is ask yourself the question, how do I get Bruno back if he's available soon? He's the best midfielder in the game and you don't want to miss those fixtures if he's back sooner than later. So he held his hamstring during the game and then later he sort of signalled to the bench like he might need to come off, but he did still play on all the way till half time. So yeah, to play devil's advocate, it's worth kind of entertaining the thought of Bruno returning sooner than later, than maybe not out for a while. You know, for my team as an example, it could be Saka back to Bruno most likely. Elsewhere, McAllister makes the table, though for 6.2 mil, I think there's better options. You know, for 5.8 mil, Wilson's got West Ham away and then Palace away before he's got Liverpool and Chelsea. So it's a nice couple of fixtures for Wilson, who's really been in form. There's a risky but possibly very rewarding midfielder that doesn't quite make the table this week. It's Gordon. He's on 4.0 projected points with an estimated 74 minutes. Newcastle's next 5, Man United, Burnley, Palace, Leeds and Wolves. All 5 of those amazing from an attacking perspective, plus he's on pens. However, does he start all 5? That could be debatable, and the problem with Gordon is he definitely comes off the bench if he doesn't start in one of those next 5. It might not matter though, there could be a boatload of goals in that run. He's 7.3 million, and as I say, he's on pens. Rice makes the table with 4.5 projected points. He's actually averaging slightly more points per game than Saka so far this season, so even if you remove the games that Saka didn't play and look at points per game, and of course Rice on more overall points. So it's a bit tricky to justify Saka right now in that context. Though Saka does have that promise of past seasons where we know that he can go through spells of being one of the very best assets in the entire game. 17 goal involvements last season and 20 starts, and that was with a lot of injury. 28 goal involvements the year before, 26 the year before that, 20 before that. Gyökeres suggested that the penalty takers could be rotated, so despite him taking the one against Everton, it could be Saka next. I'm reluctant to let go of Saka just yet, and you'll definitely get a very different answer depending on who you ask. You know, for example, Saka to Rice and Thiago to Ekitike is a popular move this week. There's one super cheap midfielder to mention last, and probably worth drawing attention to because I'm actually considering him. For me, he's the man that opens the door to buying Ekitike without losing Saka, and it's Lefebvre from Sunderland. He's 4.9 million, he's on penalties, and he's got Leeds home next. 2 goals, 3 assists this season for 60 points in total. He's started taking more corners as well. Over the last 6 game weeks, he's taken 14, which ranks 8th in the league. He's taken 1 shot off a direct free kick as well. So a potential set of moves could be Semenyo to Lefebvre, Bruno to Cunha, and then Mark Yu up to Ekitike for a front 3. Speaking of Ekitike, let's move on to the forwards because we've talked mid for quite a while. And Ekitike, of course, a big talking point this week. He's exploded up the forward rankings in recent weeks with 5 goals in his last 3 games. And further to that, Isak went off injured against Spurs after scoring, and he's going to be out for months with a leg break. So Ekitike nailed, that's a certainty. And this was always the thing with Ekitike, like he started the season really well with 3 goals and an assist in his first 5. He probably won't be on pens. He's actually taken 7 in his career and he's missed 4, so he's missed more than he's actually scored. But yeah, in the context of now Isak being out and him being nailed, he does look a really good option. Szoboszlai, McAllister, maybe Gakpo could be ahead of him in the pecking order in terms of pens. But yeah, when you consider the fact that Liverpool play Wolves and Leeds home back to back, he could still justify the 8.8 million price tag. They also have Fulham in Game Week 20, and then they've got Arsenal away, and then Burnley home in Game Week 22. So besides Arsenal, the next 5 are ridiculously good fixtures. Fulham could be tricky, but 3 of the next 5 are as good as fixtures come this season. His projected points are very much dependent on minutes, I have to say that. I've got him on 80, which is 6.2 points, and that's 0.4 points behind Haaland, who's top this week, so he could even go Ekitike captain. Given the Isak injury, there's likely going to be some early subs when games are wrapped up. They have to protect him as well. Thiago's the player that many are selling for him. He has blanked for 4 games in a row now, and he hasn't even got close to scoring the last 2. He's not shot the past 2 games at all. And those fixtures were Wolves and Leeds, where you'd expect him to at least have a shot. It's likely not worth ripping your team up for Ekitike with hits. Like fundamentally, Thiago isn't going to not shoot forever, and they do have 3 home games in their next 4. And it's Bournemouth home next as well, who've got an atrocious away record. Burnley are actually the only team with a worse XG conceded than Bournemouth's 17.3 XGC in away fixtures this season. Again, you're going to get different opinions on this one depending on who you ask. I've not quite come around to selling Thiago just yet, and instead I'm looking at how to move Gu up to Ekitike if I buy him at all. West Ham have got 3 home games in their next 4 as well. It's Fulham home, Brighton home, Wolves away, Forest home, and Bowen's only 7% owned. It could be a mega differential when you also consider the fact that he's going to be totally nailed in this busy period, probably 90 minutes every single game as well. If I was buying a forward this week, it would be Ekitike or Bowen. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, of course, has now scored for 5 consecutive games. The fixtures are just horrendous, and he is very streaky. Like, he could just as easily go 10 games without scoring. In fact, up until Game Week 13, he'd only returned in 1 game at all. And he does have Liverpool and Newcastle in his next 4, and both away games. Plus, he's got Sunderland away next. Let us know your transfer plans below. There's a lot to think about this week. Thanks for watching as always. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon for the next one.